Welcome to the Horror Vault channel. We bring you the most unbelievable stories that will leave you wide-eyed wanting more. Subscribe now and hit the like button to join in the fun. But remember, once you've signed up, there's no turning back.
Randall Jensen got up very early today. It was his first day at school. The 5-year-old put on the clothes that had been laid out for him and ran down the stairs. He quickly made himself a bowl of cereal and ate it down. Then, he started playing with his toy truck to pass the time while his mother slowly woke up and got ready for her day. While playing with the truck, a figure appeared in front of Randall. The figure was adult size, slightly translucent, and looked like a clown. It had a very silly smile on its face, which seemed to be fixed. Its eyes were fixed on Randall and didn't move. Suddenly, the clown leaned over to the boy and shouted his name several times, "Randall, Randall, Randall." Randall tried to look away from the clown. He ignored the clown's request and continued to play with his truck. Then, the clown knocked a glass statue off a nearby coffee table. The statue shattered into dozens of pieces on the wooden floor. Upset, Randall whined and asked why the clown would do such a thing. The clown replied by urging him to have fun and reminding him that one cannot be good all the time. Randall's mother, alerted by the noise, rushed downstairs to investigate. When she saw the shattered glass and debris, her face contorted in anger. Randall tried to explain that it was the clown who caused the destruction, but his mother dismissed his claims and admonished him for lying on his first day of school. She told him to get his things together so she could take him to school and warned him that his lying had to stop. At school, Randall found himself seated at a small desk, third from the front in the middle row of the classroom. As the first hour of the day passed, he struggled to concentrate on the teacher, his mind constantly wandering back to the morning's encounter with the clown and the broken statue. Gradually, he began to feel more comfortable and relaxed. It was during this time that the clown made his second appearance. There was a girl sitting in front of Randall, and the clown began to mock the boy, insinuating that the girl was bad, that she stank, and that such people should be got rid of. Randall remained silent, trying to stay calm and not react to the clown. Despite his best efforts, Randall's fear grew. Suddenly, the clown punched the girl in the back of the head, causing her to scream in pain. The teacher, alarmed by the commotion, raised her voice and demanded an explanation. Through tears, the girl accused Randall of hitting her. Little Randall cried and, for the umpteenth time that day, tried to explain that it wasn't his fault, but the mischief of a strange clown. Furious, the teacher glared at Randall and shouted that there was only one clown in the room, and that was Randall himself. The whole class burst out laughing at the accusation. In an attempt to restore order, the teacher banged a ruler on her desk and demanded silence. She declared that Randall's behavior would be dealt with by the headmaster. Randall spent the rest of the day in the headmaster's office in silence. Luckily, the clown did not make another appearance. Later, his mother picked him up from school. Randall remained silent the whole way home, while his mother occasionally expressed her disappointment. That day, Randall learned to keep the clown a secret, but he couldn't prevent its return. 3 years into the school, one day, Randall's class took a field trip along with 4 other classes from the school. On the bus, Randall had the unfortunate luck to sit behind Chad Desmond, the bully of the high school. At one point, Chad singled out Randall as his victim, and that's when it all started. The bully taunted Randall, threatened him, and insisted that he was being watched. Despite Chad's relentless provocations, Randall maintained his silence and attempted to ignore him. Finally, as Chad turned away, the clown reappeared. The clown taunted, highlighting Randall's clear distaste for Chad. Randall whispered for the clown to cease, but the clown persisted, insinuating that they would have more fun than Randall had ever imagined. Amid laughter, the clown lunged at Chad and exclaimed that they should contort him like a pretzel. In a moment of panic, Randall let out a scream and launched himself at the clown. He seized him, forcefully throwing him to the floor of the bus, and tightened his grip around the clown's throat. Over and over, he mercilessly slammed the clown's head against the bus floor, shouting, "Leave me alone." The bus monitor, alarmed by the commotion, urgently instructed Randall to release Chad. Frozen with shock, Randall suddenly realized that it wasn't the clown he had attacked, but Chad himself. Chad's complexion had paled, his lips were tinged with a bluish hue, and blood seeped from beneath his head. Overwhelmed with remorse, Randall loosened his grip and crumpled into the bus monitor's embrace. He was escorted off the bus and guided into a staff car that was waiting nearby. Shortly after, an ambulance arrived to provide medical attention to Chad. Back in the headmaster's office, Randall was confronted by the headmaster and a police officer. The headmaster inquired about the appropriate course of action, while the police officer observed silently. The headmaster informed Randall that a man named Mr. Andrews would soon arrive to discuss the incident. Mr. Andrews entered the headmaster's office. The headmaster greeted him while the policeman maintained his gaze on Randall. Mr. Andrews, a tall man with receding hair, donning wire-rimmed glasses and a business suit, requested a few minutes alone with the boy. Once alone with Mr. Andrews, tears streamed down Randall's face. Mr. Andrews recognized the recent altercations Randall had been caught up in and suggested that Randall had emerged victorious in the last one. Tears continued to flow as Randall responded, denying that he had fought Chad and insisting that it was the clown he had been fighting. Mr. Andrews, briefly removing his glasses to clean them, wore a grim smile for a moment. He asked Randall to describe the appearance of the clown, but received no response. Tears continued to stream down Randall's face. Mr. Andrews then questioned if the clown bore any resemblance to Randall himself. Overwhelmed by emotion, Randall cried, fully aware that Mr. Andrews wouldn't believe him and that nobody else would either. Mr. Andrews stood up abruptly and began to exit the room. Just at that moment, the clown reappeared. With a loud cry of fun time, the clown seized a chair. Crying out in "Oh!", Randall witnessed the clown swing the chair at Mr. Andrews' back. After he fell to the floor, the clown continued to smash the chair into the body of Mr. Andrews. Over and over again. The clown disappeared as the principal and the police officer both rushed back to the room. They found Mr. Andrews prone on the floor, his back and legs twisted into unnatural positions. Mr. Andrews tried to yell out, but the only sound he could make was a breathy gurgling sound. Randall was seated with his head on the table, crying uncontrollably. Randall never made it home again. He spent the rest of his school days bouncing between foster families and juvenile detention centers. A few years ago, Randall Jensen sat in a small room at the courthouse. A guard stood posted outside. Randall had just celebrated his 21st birthday. Unfortunately, he had just been found guilty of manslaughter. The victim happened to be his best friend. All the time he waited, the clown sat facing him. That seriously silly grin frozen in place and those piercing, unblinking eyes. Randall couldn't comprehend why this dreadful clown was targeting him. Why wouldn't the clown just leave him alone? Randall pleaded with the clown to choose someone else to engage in his horrifying games. But the clown stared at Randall for over a minute before answering. He told Randall that he would only spend 5 years in prison, after which they would have endless fun together, until death parted them. The clown's lips curled up in a terrifying smile that sent shivers down Randall's spine. In that eerie smile, Randall saw an abyss waiting for him with no escape in sight.